tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good afternoon, everyone. The Abhidhamma Sangaha. So this is the text that we will be learning. Abhidhamma Sangaha. So we can divide into three words. Abhidhamma, you already know, right? Abhidhamma. And Atta. Actually, Atta is the meaning or thing that is mentioned inside the Abhidhamma. And Sangami, summary. Summary, in other words, is compendium. So normally we will use manual as a manual. Abhidhamma means 7 Abhidhamma texts. Here, 7 Abhidhamma texts. Atta means the things that mentioned in the 7 Abhidhamma texts. So we will have a Chaita, Chaitasika, Rupa, Nibbana, as well as the Panyati or concept. Sangami, manual or summary. So this small text is a concise summary of the Abhidhamma with a clear picture of its main outlines. Actually, this Abhidhamma Sangaha, manual Abhidhamma, is very systematic. So its outline is very clear. So it starts with the Chaita, then go to Chaitasika like that. It even goes beyond the scope of 7 Abhidhamma texts. When you read introduction of Manual Abhidhamma written by Bhikkhu Bodhi, and you will see that the contents of the Abhidhamma Sangha content of this book and where they come from. Like that, the first chapter, so the author taken from which text, and second chapter from which text, like that. So that means this Manual Abhidhamma, not just the contents from 7 Abhidhamma texts, it also from Visuddhimagga and some of the things from Sutta Pitaka. So therefore, it even goes beyond the scope of 7 Abhidhamma texts. So Abhidhamma Sangaha, this is the original name of this text. It means Manual Abhidhamma or summary of Abhidhamma. Summary of Abhidhamma. It even goes beyond the scope of 7 Abhidhamma texts. So therefore, Bhikkhu Bodhi write the contents from this Abhidhamma text. So where they come from, like that. So the first chapter, 89 Chaita come from the first Abhidhamma text. Second chapter, same. The first Abhidhamma text. And the fourth and the fifth come from commentaries, not from Pali Canon, from commentaries, like that. And the last one from Visuddhimagga. So it is written, actually I will not elaborate on that. So those who want to know, you can read it. So this is the question 2017. Not English media, it's a Burmese media, Burmese language medium. Explain the reason why The manual of Abhidhamma is called Abhidhamma Sangha. So here, the reason why we call it Abhidhamma Sangha. Abhidhamma means 7 Abhidhamma texts. Atha means things that mention, or the contents that mention 7 Abhidhamma texts. Sangha means summary or manual. So this is I think if you know that one page enough, enough for 10 mark, it's for 10 mark. Later I will give you, my note before I teach. No? Later. Before I teach, I will give you the note. It's easier for you to follow up. And also, next week I will give you this book. I don't know whether we have enough book. We will give you this book. Those who do not want to study anymore, then return back. It's good for newcomers. Newcomers. Abhidhamma Sangha, manual of Abhidhamma, is recognized as a commentary of Abhidhamma. So actually, the original text is very small. The thickness is just like this small finger. Thickness, very handy. So very, very light. With I think about 150 pages, very, very small one. So therefore we call it, you call it thin, right? Small finger, right? We call it small finger commentary. So this one is a small finger side commentary. This is the English translation. The original text is very small, very thickness is very small. So therefore we call it small finger side commentaries. Normally, commentary usually, what the commentary do is, the commentary are understood as a further explanation of original text. We have the commentary of the first Abhidhamma text, Atasalini. It is a further explanation of the first Abhidhamma text. Similarly, second text also have its commentaries. It clarifies. We have the commentary of Digha Nikaya, like that. So normally what they do is they trying to clarify further. They make more explanation on difficult topic, on difficult usage, like that. But here, Abhidhamma Sangha is different from other commentaries because this Abhidhamma Sangha trying to summarize 7 Abhidhamma texts. Summary of 7 Abhidhamma texts, not further explanation. It does not explain, it does not clarify. It just summarizes. So therefore, it is different from other commentaries. Then this book, Manual of Abhidhamma, is important because it can be regarded as the indispensable key to unlock the great treasure of Buddhist wisdom, Abhidhamma Pitaka. This is a Bhikkhu Bodhi remark, comment on the Abhidhamma Sangha. Actually, of course, it is a great treasure store of the Buddhist philosophy of the mind. If you know Abhidhamma, you'll be able to clarify the nature of the mind. That's the reason why I told you Tibetan monks are more competent in Abhidhamma. So therefore they can explain philosophy of the mind, Buddhist philosophy of the mind better. So when you Google online, you will see Tibetan master, they are teaching the nature of the mind. Even some universities in the West, in the United States, they have a Tibetan study, Tibetan studies. Mostly they study about philosophy of the mind, philosophy of mind. Because they got heritage from Nalanda University. I think 7th century AD, I think. Not quite sure. So one of the Nalanda University rector, scholar man, went to Tibet for missionary work. Along with him, he brought so many Buddhist texts. So those are Abhidhamma texts, mostly about the mind. So therefore, they can clarify the nature of the mind. If you know Abhidhamma, if you learn Abhidhamma thoroughly, not superficial, thoroughly, then you'll be able to clarify the nature of your mind. It's easier for you to teach, in the Sutta Pitaka, like that. So therefore, in our syllabus, we have to learn this Abhidhamma Sangha, thoroughly. We have to learn by heart. We have to memorize. Night time, you close all the light. We have to recite by heart, So therefore, this one we call it night lessons. Night lessons. The darkness, total darkness. So not allowed to see the book. So you have to recite by heart. So therefore, it's easier to go to the actual Abhidhamma text. So if you are expert in manual Abhidhamma, so you can go to 7 Abhidhamma texts. Okay. Regarding with the order of Abhidhamma Sangha, the order is, we call it Venerable Anuruddha, who lived between 10 and 11 AD, century AD. He is from South India, Kanchipuram. Earlier we call it Kanchipura. Nowadays Kanchipuram, Southern India. So normally Venerable Buddha are also from India, right? So scholarmen from India, they go to Sri Lanka, they go to Myanmar, they teach. They stay there, they propagate Buddha Sasana. So therefore, Buddhism is well established in Sri Lanka, Burma, Thailand, like that. So Venerable Anuruddha is one of them, and he wrote summary of Abhidhamma because he, one of the devotee, he requested him to write summary of Abhidhamma. And he also write another book called Namarupa Prechera. Namarupa Prechera in Katha, Namarupa Prechera. Prechera analysis of mind and matter. It's also talk about Abhidhamma. He wrote this book while he was staying in Sri Lanka, Anuradhapura. So, firstly, Shwezan Aung from Myanmar, he translated this text into English for Palita Society. Then Narada Mahathera from Sri Lanka wrote Manual of Abhidhamma, 1970. Then Bhikkhu Bodhi edited Narada Mahathera book. The name is Comprehensive Manual of Abhidhamma, more comprehensive. Because if you read Narada Mahathera book, no explanation, just only a few explanation. So Bhikkhu Bodhi, he stayed with Burmese Abhidhamma scholar monks, two Burmese Abhidhamma scholar monks together in one monastery. They discuss, Bhikkhu Bodhi asked, then two Burmese monks, one of them is the Sayadaw Usilananda, the author of this book, the author of this book. After 2 months, I don't know, Teacher Lily, I asked Teacher Lily how many, when we will give you this book. 2 months, right? 2 months. After 2 months, if you can stay 2 months, then you will get this book. Sayadaw Usilananda. Another one is Dr. Revata. So, discussing with them, Bhikkhu Bodhi, how to say, rewrite or edited Manual of Abhidhamma. So it became Comprehensive Manual of Abhidhamma, 1993. Many people say that it is very difficult to read. Of course, and then he used precise and concise usage, precise usage. So therefore, and then some of the terms may not be familiar with you. So stay okay. Then after you learn with me here, and then you'll be able to read this one easily. This is Abhidhamma is a kind of, technical term. Abhidhamma trying to use technical term, technical term. Like a samadhi concentration, right? You will hear all the time samadhi. Abhidhamma use different term. Ekaggata. One pointedness. Your mind pointed to one thing, Ekaggata. Later, second chapter, you have to learn. So what I want to say is Abhidhamma use technical term. By looking at the word it use, then you will understand. Another one is a Rupakathin and Api Vijay Ratani. Rupakathin is from England, a Abhidhamma scholars nowadays. He is a president of Palita Society, current president of Palita Society. Api Vijay Ratani is from Sri Lanka. So they combine Manual of Abhidhamma as well as its secondary. So 2002. You can get the last book from Palita Society. You can get the first one, number 1 and number 2 book from Palita Society. 2 and 3 is available online. So reference handbook of Pali literature by Hinuba and Wikipedia. Okay, up to here, you have any question? Up to here? Okay, no question. Okay, can you use a microphone?
Who's asking question?
Yeah, the video link that is sent to us on Bhikkhu Bodhi lecture on this Abhidhamma, he recommended a few other texts to read. Which is the most easier to read than this current one.
Which one?
I'm asking you which one do you recommend to read that is at least not so difficult.
These are recommended books. Number one, of course, is the two technical term, but precise. You should. So we are using this one as a textbook because the Abhidhamma we need precise and concise. How to say? Very clear. How to say? Precise term, right? To learn Abhidhamma. Then number two is easier to read. Number two, very easy. Handbook called Abhidhamma Study by Sayadaw Usilananda. So actually 3 volume. I think very easy for you, I think, if you read this book. Actually, she is new to Abhidhamma. She said easy, easier, with a very easy explanation. So after 2 months, we'll give it to you. But you have a soft copy, right? Okay, soft copy. Second book, and then number 3 is Abhidhamma in Daily Life. We'll give it to you later time. So we are printing. So this one, normally this one is intended for lay people, lay devotees. Very easy for you. So these are recommended book. I will check whether all the 3 books already sent it to you. I will check. So now we are starting number 1, page number 1. This one, page number 1 of Manual Abhidhamma. Homage and promise. First of all, homage to 3 triple gems, and also promise to write Manual Abhidhamma. So this is the text mentioned in the first Pali poem. Having respectfully saluted the fully enlightened one, so that means the Buddha, the peerless one is also the Buddha. Along with the sublime teaching. Sublime teaching means the Dhamma. And the noble order. The noble order means Sangha community, order of Bhikkhu Sangha. Sangha community. Actually, firstly, he paid homage to the triple gems. I will speak the Manual Abhidhamma, a compendium of the things contained in the Abhidhamma, 7 Abhidhamma texts. So this Pali poem mentioned pay homage to the triple gem and giving a promise that he will be writing. So actually this is a traditional culture in Buddhist culture. So therefore, before we open our class, we recite Namo Tassa, right? So that's a tradition. Here also, the author pay homage to the triple gem, and also he promised that he will be writing the Manual Abhidhamma. Abhidhammata Sangha, the Manual Abhidhamma. This is not a literal meaning. Not a literal meaning. The literal meaning is a compendium of the things contained in the 7 Abhidhamma texts. 7 Abhidhamma texts. This is a literal meaning. But we will call it the Manual Abhidhamma. But we will follow Bhikkhu Bodhi book, a comprehensive Manual Abhidhamma. So we will use CMA. C means comprehensive, M means manual, A means Abhidhamma. Abhidhamma, 7 Abhidhamma texts, Atami things inside, Sangami Compendium. It is a traditional custom in Buddhism to pay homage to the Triple Gem before one embark on writing a book or conducting a class or to do something. It is practiced for two reasons. Number one, in order to remove all obstacles. Number one, in order to remove all dangers. Number two, to complete one's own undertakings. Because he is going to undertake the writing of meaning of Abhidhamma. So, okay. So now let's talk about one of the important things, important topic in Abhidhamma, two truth in Abhidhamma. Normally, Four Noble Truths, you always hear, right? Four Noble Truths. But here, Abhidhamma mentioned two truth. Different, huh? Different. According to Abhidhamma philosophy, so there are two types of truth. Sometimes we use reality, same. Eh? Whether we use the truth or the reality, same. Some order they will use two truth, some order they will use two type of realities. Number one, the conventional truth, samuti, satcha. Number two, the ultimate truth, paramata satcha. I think you should know this one. If you read suttas in the Sutta Pitaka, if you know two truth, it's easier for you, to identify whether the Buddha is talking by way of conventional terms or by way of ultimate terms. Later I will show you one suttas. So I will show you, even in that sutta, the Buddha used two type of truth. The conventional truth, by way of conventional truth, another one by way of ultimate realities, ultimate truth. What is conventional truth? It is the truth accepted by common consensus. It is the truth accepted by common consensus, like names and terms. In the United States, they call it apartment. They call it apartment. But British, they call it flat, right? Flat. In US, they call it elevator. But British, they call it lift. They are the name, Conventionally, they are correct. When you are in United States, they will call you elevator, right? They will call you elevator. It is true in United States. When you go to England, they will call you lift. I think here we call it lift, right? We follow British, And American, they call this one as the first floor, right? The first floor. British, they call it second floor. Second story, right? Second story. They call it the ground floor, right? The ground floor. The ground floor as a second story, right? The first story. This one second story, like that. So they are correct in their region, right? In their region. We also have a lot of things, right? Names are just conventional truth. Singapore, mainland China, they call Singapore. How they call it? Singapore, you know. Singapore. But we Burmese, we call it Singapore. Singapore, no? Not Singapore. So they are correct in their country, you know, in their country, among their community. So names, you know, are just a conventional truth. It can change anytime, you know, anywhere. It can change, it can change. According to Buddhist philosophy, we can say that philosophy, there is no man and women. There's no man and women. You see somebody as a man or as a woman. Conventionally, you're right. It is the truth, conventionally. But if you analyze in details, further details, there's no man, no women. So that's the reason why we're trying to analyze our body in terms of nama rupa, right? In meditation. When you meditate, you try to analyze mental and physical phenomena in your body. So ultimately, there is no man and women in your mind. That is reality. That is the real truth. We call it ultimate realities. Ultimately, there is no man and women. They are just the name and terms. Conventionally correct, right? The Buddha also called man and women. The Buddha also called the name of the country, the name of the place, right? We'll give you a simple example. The word atta. The word atta indicate I, you know, me, myself. In Indian language, people use the word atta to indicate I, myself, like that. The Buddha also have to use the term, you know, to indicate I teach the lessons, right? As a language, the Buddha also have to use it, not avoidable, cannot avoid. So therefore, but when the Buddha talk about ultimate truth, the real truth, the Buddha say no atta, right? No atta, non-self, anatta. Anatta means no atta. There's no atta. There's no I. There's no I. There's nobody, right? Nobody, according to Buddhism. There's no individual. Just combination of mind and matter. Nama rupa. Combination of mind and matter. So later, I think, if you learn second ultimate reality, I think you will know it. So names, all the names and terms, they are just conventional truth. Of course, people are having a lot of debate on names and terms, right? Especially in the meeting, whether they will use this name or this name, you know, this time or that time, you know. The United Nations, you know, they have very big quarrel even to use whether they have to use this term or this term, you know. Conventionally, they are right. Conventionally, they are right. Another one, concept and mental images in our mind, you know, in our mind. So you have mental images about a person, or mental images about a place, about a country. All these are conventional truth. They are truth, conventional way, but not ultimate reality. The concept we call it panyati, mental images in our mind that were constructed in the mind based on our sensory input from outside. So we see somebody or something, then so we have a mental image in our mind. That is not a ultimate realities. It is the product of mental construction. It does not exist in reality because your mind constructed it. It does not really exist in ultimate reality, in ultimate sense. It is subject to change because of time, because of place, because of passing. If you go to England, so this floor will be called second floor, second story or second floor. But United States, they call it the first floor, right? So like that. It can be changed any time. Then I want to show you one beautiful picture. What are the people are doing here? Taking a picture, right? Taking a picture. Singapore flag. Singapore flag is the conventional truth. So Singapore gained independence 1965, right? 1965. So by that time, the leader, they choose this flag, this design to represent the flag of the country. Actually, it is just a piece of cloth. You can imagine, it carries a lot of weight, When you see Singapore flag, then here, a lot of emotion here, right? Emotion arise. It creates a lot of, emotion. Let's say today the parliament decided to change the sign of the flag. This a piece of cloth will be nothing, right? Will be nothing. So therefore, this is the nature of conventional truth. The nature of conventional truth. Conventionally, they are right, but in ultimate sense, it is just a piece of cloth. Then somebody will bring the Singapore flag, and he will put on the road. He will be, insulting. He will be, how can I say? He is stepping on the Singapore flag. How will you do? The police will come and catch him, right? Because it represents the nation. It carries a lot of meaning, as a Singaporean. And he will be, arrested and sentenced to, I think, many years, and I think, in the jail. Another person will bring his own cloth. We'll put it on the road, and we'll do the same thing, What will happen? Nothing will happen, right? Nothing will happen. So that's the nature of conventional truth. People accepted an object to represent something, right? To represent something. So conventionally is very conventional truth. That when you see that somebody is, standing and also inserting this a piece of cloth, Singapore flag, will you have anger in your mind? Most of the Singaporeans, you will feel angry, feel angry. The one who can identify between conventional truth and ultimate sense will not feel any anger, will not have any anger. But of course, he will take action, without any anger. So this is a Singapore flag. You should respect. So this represents the country, right? You should respect. So therefore, you decide maybe 3-year or 5-year jail, jail terms, without anger, without anger. So, if you know the ultimate reality and conventional truth, if you can identify two types of truth, then you will not have any anger, any emotion. But you will take action, You will still take action without any anger. So that the nature of conventional truth and ultimate sense. And we also have many things, right? Many things, Some logo are very valuable, right? Like a Puma, the logo of Puma, the logo of Apple. So they are valuable. So actually, conventional truth, firstly, the member of the company, they decided this is a company logo, right? They selected. But later people start to recognize the logo of Apple, the logo of Puma, like that, right? So they are conventional truth. They are conventional truth. They are right. But when you analyze in ultimate sense, no, they are just fiction, they are just fictional truth. They do not really exist, Then I will show you another important one. Singapore dollar, very valuable, right? When you see this type of note, you feel a lot of emotion, right? When you found 100 Singapore dollar and 1,000 Singapore dollar on the way, what will happen? You will take it out. You will take it. This is a very valuable, right? This is just a piece of paper. People recognize, acknowledge as a currency. So therefore, they are valuable. Conventionally, they are right. Conventionally, they are right. But the one who know, do truth. Conventional truth, ultimate reality or ultimate truth, then you will know that this is a piece of paper. It is a medium of buying and selling, right? If you know that, you can reduce the amount of craving. You will use money as a as a media, for convenience in your life. That's all. So no craving. So therefore, conventional truths are very powerful. If you do not know ultimate sense, then you will have a lot of emotion like anger, craving, jealousy in your mind. So therefore, we have to be very careful. Ultimate aim of meditation. Ultimate aim of meditation is to know ultimate realities, ultimate truth. Ultimate truth. If you know ultimate truth, then you overcome all negative emotions, right? So, let's talk about ultimate truth. Paramattha Satya is the absolute truth that do not change from their perspective. Intrinsic nature, by the time or the place or the person. We have four ultimate truths. Later we will have to learn. So they are absolutely truth and real. So they cannot, their nature, intrinsic nature cannot change by the time or the place or the person. You have in your mind anger. In my mind, anger. The nature is the same, you know. Anger here, anger in Europe, the same, you know, the same. The nature is the same. Do not change, do not change. So therefore, it's called ultimate truth. It really exists. It does not change from its intrinsic nature at all time. Sorry. So they will not change their nature, their intrinsic nature, whether by way of the passing or by way of the place, like that. So we have four ultimate realities. Brahmata Satcha. Number one, Chaita, consciousness. Number two, Chaitasika, mental factors or mental functions. Mental factors or mental function. So we have function of our mind. Then number two is Rupa or material phenomena or matter. Number four, Nibbana. So these four are called ultimate truth or ultimate realities. They will not change. You attain Nibbana, you experience the bliss of Nibbana. Somebody attain Nibbana and she experience the bliss of Nibbana. The nature is the same, you know. The nature is the same. So therefore, in Buddhism, the Buddha said that the ocean has one taste, only one taste. The taste of salt, right? Salty. When you drink the water in the ocean, salty. So there's only one taste in Buddhism. Only one taste in Buddhism. No different. That is liberation. Liberation from suffering. Liberation. Liberation is another term for Nibbana. Another term for Nibbana. So that means the Buddha attained Nibbana, you attain Nibbana, whether you're man or woman. The bliss of Nibbana is the same, you know, the same taste, the same nature, no different, no? The Buddha attained Nibbana, Arahant attained Nibbana, and Sotapanna also attained Nibbana, and Puthojana, normal worldling, also attain Nibbana. The bliss of Nibbana is the same, you know, no different, no different. It is liberation, liberation from suffering. So therefore, it's ultimate truth, ultimate truth. So we'll talk about it one by one. We'll talk about it one by one. These are four ultimate truths. So they cannot change. Your consciousness, mind consciousness, the same, you know. The consciousness of an animal and human consciousness also the same, you know. Of course, they have different quality, different quality. Intrinsic nature is the same. No different, no different. So therefore, when scientists say that human being come from monkey, right? How you call in English? Apes, right? Apes. Actually, for me, it's okay. Same, right? The consciousness, in terms of consciousness, in terms of Chaitasika, mental factor or mental function, same, you know. In terms of Rupa, material phenomena, same, you know. But we have a different, the quality of consciousness, quality of mental functions, the quality of matter, material phenomena, right? Even among us, some are intelligent, some are not. Some are compassionate, some are not, right? So therefore, in terms of consciousness, mental functions, material phenomena, same. And whether you are man or woman, whether you are white or black, it doesn't matter. When you attain Nibbana, the bliss of Nibbana, your Nibbana and the bliss of my Nibbana are the same, no? No different. The nature is the same. So therefore, ultimate truth, ultimate truth. So let's talk about a little bit detail. Maybe later I will be long discussion. So up to now, any question? Any question up to now? Oh, can you use microphone? Yeah, for recording. Yeah.
Bhante, you said the first three, Chitta, Cetasika, and Rupa, there's different qualities, right? So what about Nibbana? Is there a different quality for Nibbana as well?
Okay, the taste is the same, no? The taste is the same. How much, how to say, you can experience it, right? Sotapanna experience the bliss of Nibbana, and Arahant experience the bliss of Nibbana, right? The degree is different, you know. The taste is the same. The taste means liberation from suffering. Sotapanna also have some mental problem, you know. He still have craving for food, craving for people. So he cannot liberate from craving, attachment to people like that. As an Arahant, no more craving, no more attachment to food, no more attachment to place, no more attachment to people. Totally liberated, right? Totally liberated. But when they experience the bliss of Nibbana, same, you know, only one taste, only one taste. So only the degree, and I will say that, yeah. I will discuss in later part when we talk about Nibbana. I think you should know what is Nibbana as a Buddhist. Otherwise, if you do not understand the nature of Nibbana, then you will get lost as a Buddhist. No? What is our target, our destination, right? What is our destination? Okay, any question? Okay, no question, then let's continue to discuss. Number one, consciousness, Chaita. The characteristics of Chaita is the awareness of the object. So later I will use the word Chaita instead of consciousness. So in my previous lessons, classes, I normally use English term. So now I think I will change to Pali term. You need to memorize some of the Pali terms. So it will be used to it, you know. Don't worry. If you know in Pali, that will be much precise and also clearer. Earlier I mentioned Cetasika, right? Two translation. Mental factors, translated by Bhikkhu Bodhi. Mental function, translated by Rupa-Kathin. And Rupa-Kathin also a Abhidhamma scholar, you know, from England. So different translation. But if you just know in Pali, Cetasika, that will be, you know, only one word, you know? Only one word. The characteristics of Chaita is the awareness of the object. So Abhidhamma makes a special analysis on our experiences, such as a feeling, perception, volition, desire, jealousy, loving kindness, compassion, etc. Chaita is the principal element in our experience. Later I will show the sota. Consciousness. Only after consciousness you will have a Cetasika, mental function follow. So Chaita or consciousness is a principal element in our experience. Without Chaita, there is no emotion. No, there is no mental factor. So we have 89 kinds of chetas, 89 kinds of chetas. So here in Mahavedana Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya Sutta number 43, paragraph number 4, and they speak of consciousness, vijnana, vijnana. How is consciousness defined? So that is the definition of consciousness in suttas. In the suttas, suttas. Mahavedana Sutta. It's called consciousness because it cognizes. What does it cognize? It cognizes pleasure, pain, neutral. Pleasure, pain, neutral. When you see somebody or something, there is pleasure experience or pain experience or neutral experience. So the consciousness or chaita recognize it, know it. So therefore, consciousness or chaita plays an important role in our experience. Whether they are painful or pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, the consciousness know it. Only after that we have a lot of mental functions. So when you see unpleasant things, normally dislike or anger may arise. When we see pleasant things, pleasing things, then craving or attachment or greed might arise like that. So there will be functions of the mind. So therefore, the chaita is very important in our experience. So therefore, in Dhammapara verse in the Sutta Pitaka, so the Buddha said that mind is forerunner. Mind. So here we use the word mana, right? Chaita, mana, consciousness, vijnana, they are basically the same. But of course, in some places there are, there will be distinction between them. I will say that chaita cover all. The mana just indicate mainly in our mind, Consciousness normally will be unconsciousness, It's connected with senses. But basically the same, they indicate the mind. Mind is forerunner of all things. Mind is the chief, they are mind-made. If one speaks or acts with the wicked mind, dirty mind, dukkha, suffering, follows in, just as the wheel follows the hoof prints or the ox that draw the cart. So normally our speeches, then our action with our body, followed by the mind. If I am lazy, you can feel it in my voice, in my speech, because it comes from the mind, right? Sometimes I may be active, sometimes I may not be active. It comes from the mind. Sometimes when we are chanting with a full of heart, then you are chanting with very loud, clear. When you are lazy, the way you chant will be not clear, right? Sometimes even silent. So therefore, mind is forerunner of everything. So therefore, knowing the philosophy of the mind, knowing the nature of the mind is important, right? So therefore, we should learn Abhidhamma. The second verse mentions that mind is forerunner of all things. Mind is their chief, they are mind-made. It is if one speaks or acts with the pure mind, beautiful mind, sukha, happiness follows him. Like a shadow that never leaves him, like a shadow. So when you are speaking pleasant speeches, when you are helping other people, come from the mind, come from the mind. So mind is forerunner. So therefore, the consciousness is fundamental, important function of our experience. So normally the chaita or consciousness recognize or cognize our experience. So here is pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, neutral. But there's no anger yet, there's no craving yet, no craving yet. The moment you experience an object, so there will be the function of chaita or consciousness. You recognize whether it is pleasant or unpleasant, That's function of consciousness. Later, there will be mental function. We call it mental factors, cetasika. Cetasikas are the mental factors or mental functions that influence the chaita. And when we learn with the example, it's clear. Chaita or consciousness is compared with the water. The water has no color, right? You just know pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. Just like water. There's no emotion yet, right? No feeling yet. Cetasikas are colors which determine the color of the water, the color of the water, the color of the chaita. The water is transparent, clean. Then you put red color, water became red, right? You put blue color, water became blue. You put white color, water became white, like that. Consciousness or chaita is like a water, no color, just cognize, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. But cetasika, mental function, add colors in your mind, right? By seeing, so two people see the same thing or the same body, the same person. One person has anger, another person has compassion, right? They see the same person, but different mental function. One person angry, another person compassion. So therefore, mental functions are like a colors we put in the water, right? In the water. So therefore, I think we need to know cetasikas. We have 52 cetasika according to Theravada Abhidhamma, according to Theravada, here, not according to Buddhism. According to Theravada Abhidhamma. According to other Abhidhammas, there are different numbers. Some say 51, some say 50, like that. But I say it can be so many, so many. It can be so many. You cannot count because we have a different type of emotion in our mind, right? Mental function in our mind. So later I think you will know it. According to Theravada Abhidhamma, we have 52 type of cetasika, mental functions. Anger, dosa, loving kindness, metta or dosa are cetasika. So they are cetasika. Anger make the mind hot, and loving kindness make the mind cool. So these two cetasikas, differentiate the outcome of your consciousness. So when you are young, normally when you see unpleasant person, feel angry, right? Later you became mature. You have a lot of experience. Even you see unpleasant people, even somebody is scolding you, criticizing you, no angry, right? No angry. Even you have compassion, loving kindness to that person. He is criticizing me, not knowing who I am, like that, right? Even compassion may arise like that. So when you have anger in your mind became very hot. When you have a loving kindness or compassion, the mind became very peaceful, cool. That is those cetasika will differentiate outcome of your mind, outcome of your consciousness. So therefore, cetasikas are important. So we cannot control consciousness. We can control cetasikas. Cetasika. Then I want to talk about cognitive process, what the Buddha taught in the Sutta, in many suttas. This is from Chachaka Sutta from Majjhima Nikaya, Sutta number 148. Many places the Buddha mentioned this. Very simple example of philosophy of the mind in Buddhism. Depending on the eye and forms. Eye consciousness arises. I have the eye, I have the eye. Prepare to see, or something to see. Because of these two, my eye, something to see, eye consciousness arises. The mind does not exist anywhere, not in the brain, not in your heart, not in your body, or outside of your body. No. The mind does not exist according to Buddhist philosophy of the mind. So the mind arises depend on conditions. Because I have an eye, that's something to see. Because of two things, the eye consciousness arises. Eye consciousness, or the mind, the mind arises. So here you can see consciousness. That is a chaita, the mind what we are going to learn, Then the meeting of the three is called contact. We call it contact. Not a physical contact, Not a physical contact. Contact is one of the cetasika. Contact is one of the 52 cetasika. The meeting of three is called contact. With the contact as condition, there is feeling. So there will be a feeling, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral feeling. Because of feeling, then craving will arise. With the feeling as condition, there is craving. Craving is a kind of attachment. So here, a very simple way, very deep, Buddhist philosophy of the mind. So I think this type of teaching can be found only in Buddhism. Simple is very, it will help you to overcome many problems in our life, As we have eye, so we will see many things, right? So there will be consciousness, definitely consciousness. So there will be contact, we cannot avoid, there will be contact. And also there will be a feeling. Feeling here is not an emotional one, it's a feeling sensation or experience. Pleasant sensation, unpleasant sensation, neutral sensation. When somebody is making a lot of noise outside, unpleasant, right? Unpleasant sensation. Then because of that, you feel angry and agitated. why he is doing that? Why he is doing that? That is, anger is emotion. Anger is another form of craving. Another form of craving. So therefore, up to feeling, you cannot avoid it. You cannot avoid it. But what we can avoid is craving. Normally, our mind, easily go to craving because of lack of mindfulness. If you are mindful, you have eyes, something to see, contact will arise, then feeling will arise. You're mindful. Because of mindfulness, no craving. Craving cannot arise. So therefore, anger cannot arise. Like that. Jealousy cannot arise. Or this one. Negative mental state cannot arise because of mindfulness. Then feeling, mindfulness. Then you will hear a sound. Then because of your ear sensitivity and sound, then ear consciousness will arise. Then contact, feeling, you're mindful. Then mindfulness, clear comprehension. Then no anger. You will still take action. You will still take action to tell them not to say loudly like that. Without any anger. So that is we call it dependent origination or dependent arising. In Pali we call it paticca samuppada, right? Paticca samuppada. So when you see here the consciousness is a chaita. The contact, feeling, craving, all these are mental functions. So that is I think you will know it, right? So what are the characteristics of Chaitasika? If there is no awareness, if there is no chaita, awareness of the object, there will be no contact, no contact with the object, no feeling about the object, no perception of the object. You are sitting on the chair. When your mind is, your mind is fully absorbed in my teaching, you will not know that you are sitting, right? You will not notice that you are sitting on the chair. Your body and chairs are touching, physically touching. Even that touching, you cannot call contact. We cannot call contact because there is no awareness. Only until you there is the word chair, right? That your mind rightly go to the chair, So therefore, when you are listening, a Dhamma talk or music, you are sitting on the chair, right? There is a physical contact, your body and chair, but no awareness. Your mind go to music, your mind go to the lessons, right? So therefore, even though physically touching, your body is a contact with the chair, but there is no awareness. So therefore, no awareness, no contact. No contact, no feeling. You do not know, right? Pleasant or unpleasant. But I'm teaching about 3 hours, non-stop. Then your body start to you start to notice your body, right? Pain, Then only your mind go to there. Your attention will not be here, like that. So therefore, if there is no awareness or you are sitting, no contact, no contact, no feeling, no perception, like that. It goes like that. So therefore, awareness or cognition is important in our experience, right? You don't have cognition of touching on the chair. So therefore, no mental functions regarding with the sitting, right? Sitting. Contact, feeling, perception are mental factors or cetasika, mental function. Chitta, cetasika. Okay, so up to here, any question? Any question? Okay, yeah. Because we are recording. True. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante. So my question is with regards to the definition of chitta. Here the definition is given is awareness, right? So for us Buddhists it's quite clear, but if let's say a non-Buddhist, they're looking at the current modern science and looking at technology like ChatGPT or Siri, those artificial intelligence that seems to be able to know things, right? Like the definition of awareness means to know something is there. So would that encroach on our definition of chitta? Because so my question is basically how to delineate between our mind and the artificial intelligence of the technology. So my thinking is that it's because the artificial intelligence don't have the chittasikas, whereas our mind has chittasikas. But then that is my first question. The second question is, if our definition of chitta is just pure awareness, will that potentially include artificial intelligence as being covered by this definition? Yeah.
Very good question, deep question. Talking about AI, AI is very like a knowing. It know our voice, our face. We are talking about nama rupa, mind and body. Let's say mind and body, right? Artificial intelligence does not have any body, right? Of course, they can say body, but no mind. We cannot say that it's mind, because it recorded. I think it is recorded in their devices, right? Normally. Actually, sorry that I do not know much about AI so much. But my understanding is they come from the devices. Normally they don't have any mind, No, it's really emotion. Of course, there's no. I think there may not be no cetasika or mental factors. But your question is whether we can call consciousness, right? I don't think so, because the consciousness here defined to the living being, right? Living being, not a non-living being. So AI is not a living being. Yeah, I have to answer in such a way, I think. So here, consciousness we refer to living being. Only living being can have a consciousness. Then there is this problem in Asia, India, even nowadays, right? They think that the trees also have life, just like a human being, Just like a human being. So one time, one of the monks chopped the trees, chopped the trees. Then the guardian spirits staying there reported to the Buddha, and the Buddha laid down the Vinaya rules not to cut the trees. As a monk, not allowed to cut the trees. So we have to ask devotee, lay devotees to cut the trees. Even we cannot use the word you cut the tree. No, cannot use like that. We have to use this carefully, If we are following the Vinaya rules, strictly, then we have to use the particular terms, like that. Another thing is, at the time, Asian Indian people, they believe that the trees also, they also have a life. They also have consciousness, the mind, you know. So therefore, if you cut the tree, that means you're killing a sentient being. Killing a sentient being. But according to Buddhist perspective, the tree does not have any consciousness or any mental factors. Of course, the same tree they know, right? They can experience, you know. They can experience. So when you touch, you know, they can respond right away, and also they can. There are some tree I heard that there are some tree look like a living being. So I think consciousness, Chaita, Cetasika, all these are for living beings. AI, of course, I think we cannot call. Okay, any question? Okay.
Okay, I just want to clarify that the five aggregates, the sankharas, that means the cetasika and the ceta, are they all, does they belong to the five sankharas?
Oh yeah. Normally, all the cetas, consciousness, belong to Vijnana Khanda, the less aggregate. Vijnana Khanda, the aggregate of consciousness. Sankhara belong to Cetasika. So we have a 52 Cetasika. Among them, feeling has its own aggregate. Feeling aggregate. Perception has its own aggregate. Perception aggregate. And the rest of the 50. So they are Sankhara. Mental formation, yeah.
But consciousness is also one of the aggregate, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So consciousness is Ceta.
Ceta, yeah.
So Ceta and Cetasika are the five sankharas. No?
Four Sankhara.
Four sankharas, yes.
So another one is Mata, another one is a Rupa. So I think today no time, so next week we'll study about. So this one, Rupa, is another aggregate. Altogether five aggregate. Those are who are new, don't worry, so you have to learn later, step by step. Okay, any question? Okay.
Okay, so earlier you said that we cannot have control on chi, but we can control cetasikas. My question is, can we control all cetasikas, or like including contact, or are there like different kinds of cetasikas that we can control and others that we cannot control?
Actually, the one you control is just not exactly. Suppose if I close my eye, then I can control my consciousness. If I close my eye, then there's no eye consciousness, no? Then if I stay in quiet place, if I stay alone, then I can avoid some of the ear consciousness, like a criticism or blaming like that, right? But generally, consciousness we cannot control because we have six senses, right? We see, we hear, one way or another, you know. We smell, we touch. So there will be a kind of consciousness there. But if we have a consciousness followed by contact, and followed by feeling, we cannot control all these one. But what we can control is starting from feeling, you know. We can control. Control me whether you want to have a positive mental function or negative mental function. So actually, I refer to that one, yeah.
Okay. All right, clear. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Any question? Maybe you have one more question if you want.
Are feelings inherently pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral, or is it determined by consciousness whether they are pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral?
That's a good question. It's not determined by consciousness, determined by something you experience. Suppose somebody praise you, or you're very intelligent, you're a very good man, pleasant. Actually, someone who praise you, the sound, is pleasant. But somebody who scold you or blame you, criticize you, unpleasant. Not by your consciousness, by the object that you experience. Also, when we talk about the weather, sometimes the weather is good, sometimes not good, right? Not determined by your mind, determined by experience. Sometimes very hot, right? Not pleasant. Sometimes, but nowadays very pleasant, right? Those who do not like rain, of course, stay considered as pleasant, But some people may not like it. But we were determined according to general consensus, right? General consensus, not by the mind, the object you experience.
So, whether it's pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral can be pleasant to one person and neutral to another person. Depends on the background of the recipients.
As I earlier said, that we have to use general rule, right? General rule. The food you eat for you may not be very good, but if you give that food to very poor people, excellent for them. So what we have to do is we have to use general line. So not depends on not depends on the person, depends on an object. So the food you eat here for you may not be good, right? May not be good. But the food you can give it to the poor guy, very poor guy, hungry guy. For him is a very excellent food for him, for him. So that food may be normal food, good one. But for poor guy, very excellent one, excellent food. But for you, it became very bad food. So therefore, we have to use general people, So therefore, when we are determining whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, we have to use normal circumstances.
So it's relative to the experience of the person who experienced that feeling.
Yeah. I would say that, yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so thank you. Now time is up. So we will study next week. Yo varatam pavaro manu Jesu Sakyamuni Bhagava Gata Gecho Paragato Pala Vi Dan Sugatan Saranata Mupemi Ragavi Ragama Ninjama Sokan Dhamma Masanga Dhamma Patikulan Madura Mimamba Gunan Suwipatan Dhamma Mimam Saranata Mupemi Yata Chadina Mahapala Mahu Chatu Susisu Purisa Yogesu Atacha Pogala Dhammata Sati Sangami Mansaranata Mupemi. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you. See you next week.